Next, we see the three-dimensional viewing pipeline. What is three-dimensional viewing? What is a viewing pipeline? We have already seen the two-dimensional viewing pipeline. So this viewing pipeline gives you the procedure to draw a 3D figure on the or a 3D scene on the screen. Okay, that is a 2D screen. Okay, now this process is similar to taking a picture with a camera. Okay, it's not, of course, again, it's not the digital camera, it's the olden days camera where the film roll is placed at the back of the scene. So when you take a picture, the picture will be seen on the film roll. Okay, now what are the things that we have to do? First, we have to position the camera. We should see which view we need. Suppose we want the front view of this building, then the camera should be placed here in front of the building. If we want the side view, then the camera is to be placed like this. Okay, so first we have to place the camera. Okay, next it is the camera orientation. Okay, suppose you place in such a way that the camera is pointed upwards, then we will get the picture of the sky only. Okay, if we point it downwards, we will get the picture of the ground only. Okay, so if we want this view of the building, we have to point it towards the building. That is your camera orientation. Okay, next what you have is you will click. When you click, the shutter snaps. Okay, so whatever is seen within the lens is what will be shown. Okay, that is what we call as the clipping window. Okay, so we have to define the camera position, the camera orientation, and the clipping window. In addition to this, your 3D viewing pipeline is similar to your 2D viewing pipeline. Your clipping window, viewports, display windows are all specified as rectangles. Okay, with their edges parallel to the coordinate axis. The clipping window is positioned on a selected view plane. Here, the clipping wall window is set as a volume of space. It is no more 2D. That is, earlier when we did clipping window, it was only the x-axis and the y-axis. Now you also have the z-axis. It is a volume that we are going to consider. Okay, so the clipping window will be considered as a volume of space. Yeah. So we have to specify the viewing position, the view plane, clipping window. All these are specified in the viewing coordinate reference plane. So what is our three-dimensional viewing pipeline? We first define the object in the model coordinates. We have already seen. Suppose we are drawing the picture of a classroom, then we individually draw the student bench, the blackboard, the table, podium, etc. Okay, next we put them into the world coordinates. We combine everything into a scene. Okay, where do we place the blackboard? Where do we place the podium? Where do we place the student benches? Okay, all those together is what forms the modeling transformation. Okay, once you get the world coordinate, we convert it into the viewing coordinate. Okay. So in the viewing coordinate system, we specify the viewing parameters. Okay, that is, we specify the view plane, we specify the position and the orientation of the view plane. Okay, we also define the clipping window. Here in 3D, it is the view volume. Okay, once the viewing coordinates are defined, we then go in for projection coordinates. We go to project this into 2D. Okay, projection we have already seen is conversion from 3D to 2D in computer graphics. Okay, so we have already seen we have two kinds of projections, parallel projection and perspective projection. So our graphics packages generally support both parallel and perspective projections. So from the viewing coordinates, we apply the projection transformation and we get this scene in the projection coordinates. Once you get the projection coordinates, now everything is complete, you can show. Okay, but then we want our model to be independent of the particular device. Okay, we may project it on a laptop, we may show it on a desktop monitor. That could be a 14-inch monitor, a 15-inch monitor, 17-inch monitor, or a huge wall screen. Okay, so it can be shown on anything. So we want it to be independent, device independent. So we convert the projection coordinates into normalized coordinates. Okay, normalized coordinates, we have seen it is either from -1 to 1 or from 0 to 1. So your x min, y min, maybe z min will be -1, x min, y min will be -1, -1, and x max, y max would be +1, +1, or x min, y min is 0, 0, and x max, y max is 1, 1. Okay, so we convert from projection coordinates to normalized coordinates. In addition, since it is 3D, we also do the clipping. Okay, that is, whatever is outside the clip volume should be clipped off. Next, because it is 3D, we have to identify the visible surfaces and decide how the invisible surfaces are going to be drawn. Okay, whether the visible surfaces are going to be highlighted, or the invisible surfaces are going to be drawn by dotted lines, or they are going to be totally removed. We have to decide how it is, and we apply that also at this stage. Okay, we also apply the surface rendering procedures. That is, we apply the lighting characteristics, the surface characteristics, etc. Okay, now after all this, we get the object in the normalized coordinates. Now, this can be shown on any device. Okay, so till here, it is all device independent. Okay, now depending on the particular device that we use, we can apply the viewport transformation. Okay, so it could be to a particular laptop or a desktop or an interactive board, anything. Okay, so depending on that, we are going to show this. So the coordinate transformations can be concatenated for maximum efficiency. Converting from the modeling coordinates to viewing coordinates, that is the applying the modeling transformation, then applying the viewing transformation to get the viewing coordinates, then applying the projection transformation to get the object in projection coordinates, and then applying our normalization transformation and clipping, and then applying the viewing transformation. Excuse me. Instead of applying these transformations one after another, we can concatenate all of them. We can multiply all of them together, get the composite transformation matrix. So then, once you get that, you can apply the composite transformation matrix to the object coordinates and directly get the device coordinates. That way, we achieve maximum efficiency.